Yep, you guessed it. Pregnancy. Well, not quite. Natural family planning. Now that just sounds actually kind of boring when I say it like that. It's not actually, I mean, I want to talk about that, but that's not what I mean to say. That's just what it's called. You could say it a lot of different ways. You know, you could say that you are trusting the Lord. You could say that you want alternative methods to having or not having a baby. There's lots of different reasons or ways you can say this. Now, the reason I wanted to, before I say anything, I wanted to preface this in saying this whole video is a personal conviction. That being said, this is not the end all be all. This is not something that you have to do. This is not something I'm saying that you have to do. I just wanted to share this because this is Caleb's and my conviction at this point in our lives with where we're at and where we are with the Lord. So, that being said, do not feel like you have to do this or that now you have to go and run and tell all your friends. You can or you don't have to. So, first of all, we prayed about this, what we were gonna do before we got married, how this was gonna look. Did not just jump into this. And honestly, once we decided we were going to do this, I still had fears about what this was gonna look like. This has been burning on my heart for some time to share with you a little bit about what the people call it, natural family planning. I guess you could call it that. That's what people know it as. I just call it, we trust God. That's what I call it. When it comes to babies and having a baby or not having a baby, we just trust God. And yes, there are methods like birth control and there are methods like condoms or pulling out or the basal temperature. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Those are all amazing, which the basal temperature is basically like abstinence, which is also another form of natural family planning, because in the class that I took, which if you're super interested after this video, I would definitely suggest taking an online class or going in and speaking with somebody about it. I'm just gonna share with you my experience, what I learned, and then it's up to you to decide and talk to the Lord and talk to your spouse about what you guys are gonna do. My husband and I, our conviction was that we trust the Lord. We trust the Lord when it comes to having babies. We trust the Lord when it comes to not having babies, if we are not able to have babies or have babies. Regardless, we trust the Lord, and babies are God's idea. Let's just go into what natural family planning is. It is basically a way to track your cycle as a woman. I definitely suggest that men should go along to the class as well. My parents did, men and women. It's a way to track your cycle. It's a way to track when you're fertile, your period, you know, that week in between where you're not fertile, and then when you're fertile, and then there's another week where you're not fertile. And then you have your period after that again, and then it just repeats. Well, when I first got married, I was explaining to my friends this class and all the premarital classes that we had to take. We actually went through the Catholic Church, so we had to go through all the Catholic classes that you have to take before you can get married in the Catholic Church. Now, one of the classes that you had to take was this, this class, natural family planning, and they just go through, what your body is naturally doing. So let me just give you a little quick rundown. I'm not going to go in detail like they did in the class. Honestly, it got me really confused a lot of the time, but I think I got the gist of it. My husband and I both pretty much just got the gist of it, enough to know what's happening overall. And I just wanted to share with you because when I shared with my friends, their minds were blown because nobody had ever shared with them. All they usually do in the church, even in church settings and even outside church settings, but mostly within the church, people don't talk about this thing. Yes, in the Catholic Church they do, but in other Christian settings, they don't usually talk about that there are other alternatives besides birth control. They just assume you're going to do birth control if you're not having kids. And that's not necessarily the right thing to do, because there's a lot of bad things that go along with birth control. It actually is very harmful. I know we have a family friend that had a stroke and had blood clots and literally almost died. It makes it very hard for you to have kids once you stop birth control and you're trying to have kids. It can really mess up your body. It's very toxic. A lot of people I know that have been on birth control actually are not themselves when they weren't on birth control, and then when they got married they started birth control, and then their husbands didn't even recognize them. They were moody. It was like a constant period, but like your body is in way worse state the entire time you're on birth control. And actually there's very, very, very high chances of you getting cancer when you are on birth control. So there's absolutely nothing good about birth control except trying to control and manipulate your body and your situation, not trusting the Lord at all when it comes to birth control. You are manipulating the situation. You're manipulating when you're going to have kids. It's very harmful for you. And if you think about it, your body naturally is supposed to have a period as a woman. And when you are on birth control, you are stopping that. Yes, doctors will say it's just putting your body on hold, but you're actually, if you think about it, you're stifling what God naturally made your body. The blood that you're getting rid of is preparing your body for a baby. Now, it's shedding the body. It's supposed to get it out. What you're doing is stopping that from happening. If you can imagine, like, your body wants to get rid of it, but you're not letting it get rid of it. You can imagine how toxic that is and how horrible that is. Think about like poop. If you didn't let the poop get out, there's lots of toxins, and it's very harmful to keep that in you. So that's probably not a good analogy. I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying these are my experiences. There's so much data, and you can look it up online. You can talk to your doctor. Maybe they'll probably push birth control for you, but if you ask them why birth control is harmful, the facts are there, and it's all over on the internet. And if you talk to people that are on birth control and they give you the real details, they'll tell you, what it's doing to them. Let's talk about what your body is doing throughout the cycle. When you start your cycle with your period, which is just the uterine lining and the endometrium. I want to say endometrium. I could be totally. It's the lining of your uterus is being built up. It starts with an E, but I don't know it. But the lining of your uterus is growing to house a baby. And when you don't have a baby, and when that's not the case in your body, then your uterus sheds that lining, and that's what you know as your period, and it comes out, and the blood and everything comes out, and the lining comes out. Great. Now your body's clean and ready for a new cycle. Perfect. Basically, your uterine lining is bleeding. That's why, and the lining is coming apart. That's why you have cramps. That's why your hormones are going bonkers. That's why you have headaches and cramps, and you crave weird things like ice cream and pickles and peanut butter and whatever, mayo and banana sandwiches. Then, the next week, you are clean and clear, which what happens is there is something called cervical mucus, and that is actually going up into the vaginal cavity, the vaginal passageway that goes into your uterus, and it plugs up the vaginal canal, and it plugs it up. You are able to have sex, and there's always a very small chance. There's a very small chance that you can get pregnant at any time. But the chances of you getting pregnant during that week are very slim and nil, because there's cervical mucus actually plugging your body, like a natural birth control, so to speak. Then you have, that could be anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. It depends on your cycle. It depends on how things go. I think mine personally is like a week, and then it's the fertile week. It's about 5 to 7 days where the cervical mucus comes out, and that's what you see, like all the mucus and its different levels. It's different types of stretchiness, like, and cloudy, or is it clear, and you can kind of see when it gets really cloudy. There's the one day right towards the end, that's your peak fertile day, which it's your highest time to be fertile. It's the best day. If you're trying to get pregnant, you want to have sex for sure on that day. When you have intercourse on anywhere within that window, your body naturally is wanting to create a baby. So it keeps sperm, once you have sex, it keeps the sperm alive. That cervical mucus keeps the sperm alive as it travels up into the vagina, and up through the uterus and into the ovaries, up through the passageways into the ovaries. Once it gets to the ovaries, that's where it fertilizes, and there's homogeneous, I can't say the words, but it's basically it fertilizes in the ovaries. But what's cool about your body, or scary if you're not trying to get pregnant, that cervical mucus keeps the sperm alive as it travels into your ovaries, and it holds it and keeps it alive. So, which I thought was cool. It's kind of like the sperm hop a bus and travel up into your ovaries, and they make a house and they make an egg right there. And then once it's fertilized, it comes back down and goes into your uterus, and it starts to build a baby. After the fertile week, you have a week of, the cervical mucus gets plugged back up, and then the next week you'll have your period. That's how mine works. I believe that's how most people's works. Just knowing that, it's a very small percentage in general for you to get pregnant on those 2 off weeks, when you're not in your fertile week and when you're not in your period week. You can also get pregnant during your period, but things are trying to come down, so it's kind of messy in there. It's like traffic jam, like things are trying to come down, but the sperm are trying to travel up. You can totally get pregnant during your period, but it's very small percentage. It's a little bit bigger because the vagina is open. Like, it's as if they explained it like there's like a barricade. It's basically a barricade in the vagina. I don't know the perfect words, the medical terms, but there's a vagina passage, and in your period the vagina is open, like it's not stopped up by the cervical mucus, it's open, and the vagina is trying to get rid of stuff. When you're fertile, it's completely open, and that cervical mucus is ready to bring the sperm up to the ovaries. But when there's those 2 off weeks where nothing is supposed to happen, and there's cervical mucus stopping anything from going up. So the chances are very, very slim and nil. And anyways, to even get pregnant in general, the chances are very small anyways, because if you think about it, it just takes one little sperm, and there's millions and millions, but like hardly any of them make it anyways. But if you're trying to get pregnant, I would definitely do it within that fertile week. All that to say, your body naturally stops you from having a baby, and it naturally pushes you to have a baby at certain times. There are other options to having birth control. If you are saying, okay, now is not a good time, we just had a baby, it's very hard on my body. There are lots of ways to show, or for you to have confidence and just trust the Lord, and also work with how He naturally made your body to help the situation. You can use condoms, those will stop, but there's still a percentage, there's still a chance you could get pregnant. Everyone, there's always a chance you get pregnant even through condoms. You can do abstinence during that fertile week. You could just wait and not have sex. That's super easy too. That's a good way to do that. You can also do the basal temperature, which your temperature changes when you're fertile. There's an app now that you can just take your temperature. It's like a little mechanism. You take your temperature with it, and then it goes right to the app and shows you if you're fertile. Basically, it makes it so simple. It just tells you if you're fertile or not fertile, if it's a good time to have sex or not, or if you want to use a condom or whatever that looks like for you. I just wanted to share that, just educate you in any kind of way. Excuse me. Agua. I just wanted to share with you what I know. I am by no means an expert in any way, shape, or form. I just know a little bit, and I just wanted to share with you because not many people are talking about it, especially in the Christian circles, and people outside the Christian circles are not watching it at all. Probably, well, most people, some people are, so can't say everybody. But I just want to share with you. I want to just, hopefully you know a little bit more now than you did before you clicked on this video. Also, I wanted to share with you my personal conviction. This is not something saying that you have to do this, by no means. I just wanted to share with you, we just felt like we can trust the Lord, not just with our finances, not just with how He wants for us to live our lives and the call on our lives, but also with our kids. And right now, we are just at this place where we feel that we can trust the Lord, that whenever He wants to bring us kids, He'll bring us kids. We can trust Him that if we get together or have intercourse during the fertile week and we don't have kids, then we know that that's not His plan for us right now. But if we have kids right away or very soon or not when we wanted it to happen, we can trust Him and know that He's going to provide for us financially. He's going to provide for us a way to live our lives and live the call on our lives and still have a baby and still do that together. I believe that when we said that we trust the Lord, we trusted the Lord with everything, and that includes babies. It's an exciting thing. It was something that was really scary for me, but it actually is really exciting, and it's also exciting to know that God made our bodies with natural birth control in us. We don't have to add any drugs or anything that is hard on our bodies. All that to say, I hope that this really encourages you. Be sure to subscribe for more videos. Be sure to like and comment your heart away, everything and anything you want to say. I love you so much, and I hope this video encourages you. And until next time.